This is Amber Ray with the Perry Daily Journal. Today we are going to be speaking with mayoral candidates Derek Coldiron and Lawrence Wortham. Today we are going to be asking them some hard-hitting questions given to us from community members addressing concerns and issues that they have that they would like to have some answers to. And we're going to speak with them about why they are running for mayor and what future they see for the city of Perry. Also, be sure to go cast your vote on Tuesday, April 4th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and make your vote count. Hi, Lawrence. Hi, Derek. We'll start off today with Lawrence. Why don't you tell us, a little about yourself and what inspired you to become mayor?
Absolutely. So my name is Lawrence Wortham, and I'm the owner of the Microtel here in Perry. My wife and I moved here it's been about 8 years now that we moved out here to start working on the hotel, and since then we've been involved throughout the community with the YMCA, with the chamber, and one of the reasons that I wanted to get more involved in running for mayor was to continue being involved in the community. With this opportunity that was opening up for this election, we just saw that as the next step and a greater way that we can continue to serve the community on our part.
That's fantastic. What about you, Derek?
I'm Derek Coldiron, and I was born and raised here in Perry, fourth generation, raising the fifth generation, and I decided to get involved several years ago. I'm on the third term on city council, as well as several other things, and with several pieces of the city government that have been going on, decided to run for mayor and try and continue the things that we have going on in the community and make it a better place for our children to grow up in.
Question number one. What are your plans to increase financial growth in Perry so citizens' utility bills are no longer the main revenue source, and how will you accomplish this?
So to elaborate on that a little bit, there's basically two forms of income for the city. One of those being the utility bills, mainly electric, and a lot of the other utilities actually lose money. The other form of income is sales tax and use tax. We need to try and adjust that the best we can so that we remove the burden off of the citizens that live here and provide more opportunity to either get people to visit or get people to move in and buy things here in Perry. So if we have a way to make that spend inside the city irresistible, whether it's more competition on groceries to help with the prices, or any kind of tourism that we could bring to town, that would be amazing if we could to adjust that and sway that from the utility bills over into the sales tax and use tax. So also shopping and having it shipped here so that you take receipt inside the city limits, another great way to help do that. So thank you.
Just like Derek said, there's a lot of potential and a lot of opportunities for the city of Perry to continue to develop and increase those sales tax opportunities. Perry is very strategically positioned right along I-35. There's so much traffic that comes up and down the interstate, and there's a lot of opportunities to attract more outside interest into Perry for people to spend their money, so that the citizens of Perry don't have to be relied on so heavily for the income for the city. When you're looking at any financial forecasting or budgeting, part of the revenues is also taking a look at our expenses. What areas could we improve that within the city's expenses? Where are we spending too much and where are we making too little? Those are two areas that we need to look at and really evaluate what ways can we look to bring down our costs within the city so that we don't have to rely so heavily on the utilities, and then what opportunities do we have to continue to develop the revenues of our city to kind of make up and spread that gap. That's what I got there for that first question.
Perfect. Thank you. Question number 2, starting off with Lawrence.
Mhm.
Do you have any plans to reduce the full-time pay and benefits for part-time work at City Hall? Employees work 8 to 4 with 1-hour lunches.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. That's one that, I'll be completely honest, I can't answer fully, because I'm not currently on city council or involved with the city where I'm privy to be able to see those issues. Part of the reason I want to run for mayor is so that I can get more involved into taking a look at that and looking at, again, where are we spending too much and where are we making too little? If there's issues within the city employment, whether it be in the, higher up with the city manager, attorney, CFO, or further down the line, what areas, how can we restructure that to be able to pay our employees appropriately and not overdo the burden of our payroll within city? But again, I haven't been able to see that within the city because I'm not currently on city council, so I don't feel like I could answer that question fully. But.
Thank you. Eric?
I'd like to say I appreciate all of the city employees and what they do for the city. That question really falls on probably the city manager to decide how each job function is set up within the job description, whether it's full-time or part-time. But what we can do is look at the budget and figure out where those needs are and make sure that we are hiring or have job openings in the right places to solve the right problems.
Thank you, Derek. You can keep holding the microphone. We'll move on to question 3, starting with Derek. What changes will you make to draw businesses without tax breaks to Perry?
So there's several things that I think we could do. Lot of conversations have been had over my tenure on council to try and attract businesses. One, I would like to work more with current local business owners to figure out any kind of interest they have, figure out how we can to promote the businesses that are currently here or any new ideas. But I've had several people reach out to me with ideas and trying to find the locations and the perfect spots, as well as the city partnering with them to do that. The second one is getting the word out to people that aren't local to businesses, trying recruiting them here, letting them know what opportunities, what land, and what buildings are available. And from there, not a tax break, but maybe if it's city-owned land, making a deal with them where the land could be a part of them coming to business and providing a sales tax boost to the citizens.
Thank you. All right, Lawrence?
There's a lot of opportunity with Perry in attracting businesses and even working with the current businesses that we have. As far as tax breaks, what other opportunities are there that the city could take in being more aggressive in attracting those businesses coming into Perry? Do we have zoning done correctly? Do we have specific areas within Perry or around Perry that we would want a business district or a downtown district that would make sense and be that we'd be able to strategically put roads and utilities to attract different businesses? Again, this kind of goes with what's the vision of Perry and where do they want to see it developed in different areas. As far as the tax breaks, it's situational. There's some businesses that you have to work. You have to work out. I don't want to say deals with them, but you have to work out different opportunities for them to bring them in. How could the city do that? What resources do we have that we could attract those types of businesses?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to question 4. What are your plans to reduce the number of dilapidated properties and repair roads? Some currently have potholes large enough to damage cars.
Yeah, there's quite a few potholes even on the road that I live on, and this is something that a lot of folks here in Perry really struggle with. There's a lot of the roads that need repaired, and they need to be repaired correctly. There's many times that I see a lot of the potholes just being filled in but not properly repaired correctly because those potholes just keep coming back up. With the dilapidated properties, we have a couple different code enforcers within the city, and what are they doing? How are we enforcing the code? How are we working with those property owners to improve their properties or to do something with their properties? We have a lot of developers that have come into Perry that have started improving and building new homes within Perry, and what are we doing as a city to continue to encourage that, to improve the lots that we do have, and to step in when needed to enforce the properties that aren't being kept up, to encourage them to do that. I think it's going to take some effort on our code enforcers to have them educated and to give them the resources that they need to be able to do their job and do it well.
Thank you. Derek?
As far as the dilapidated homes, that has been another topic that has been talked about many times since I joined council, and there's been several pushes to identify the dilapidated properties, and there is there's a need to improve all of those. We have to also have an understanding of where they're at, whether they've tried to remodel those homes and hit a hard spot. And that's always been a struggle from my side on council, is determining when it is time for the city to step in versus maybe we just try and provide a helpful hand where we can. So that one is a bit of a struggle. It's never easy to vote to repossess someone's home, and definitely don't take that lightly. But we do need to figure out some programs to help people when they do need it to remodel or restore homes, or in the instance of that it needs to be tore down, that happens as well. And then once we have the lots, we also need to have a plan to fill those lots with it, like Lawrence said, with the new builders coming in, figure out a way to get them to utilize those lots spread out through the community. On the roads, that's a huge one on my list. Over the years, we have put some money into the roads, but as of recent, we have done a lot of water line and sewer line projects. So most of our water lines and sewer lines, water line project is still in progress, but that'll create a loop around town. And then the sewer lines, we've pipe burst several phases and replaced sewer lines. And so those projects have had several $1 million put into them, and we're in a lot better place there. The roads have not seen as much love. Over the last few years, as a council, we've started to get some products like the asphalt zipper to be able to do roads in-house. And so what I look to do is push the the purchase of the last few pieces of equipment that we need, and to be able to get where we do, say, 5, 6, 10 blocks a year, and put streets on some kind of a rotation where we make sure that we don't get to this place again. So, thank you.
We'll move on to question 5. How will you restore faith in the town council and Perry leadership?
I think that council itself, we've got a pretty good council, many different perspectives, and a lot of people that care. As for me, I'll bring my integrity and faith into everything I do, and will not compromise on my morals or integrity.
I feel like there has been a disconnect over the last couple of years between the council and the leadership and the community as a whole. A lot of folks that I've talked to have mentioned that they really want to see change. One of the reasons that I've been wanting to run for mayor is because I've been very involved in the community, and I want to take that relationship within this position of mayor, where the mayor is involved in the community. I would love to see the council involved in the community, in the different organizations, with the chamber, with Main Street, with YMCA, with the schools, with the churches around Perry. I really believe that the mayor needs to be in the community and be everywhere that he can be, to reach out and to be an advocate for the community and an advocate for the council and the city. I think that will help restore the faith between the community and the city council and the city organization as a whole.
Awesome, thank you. Moving on to question 6. How has your life experiences helped you to understand the needs of Perry, or what Perry can become for our youth?
Unlike Derek, I'm not a Perry native, and I think that's fantastic that you've got that lineage here within Perry. Similar to Perry, I did grow up in a small town, not too far up in Kansas, where I learned values and morals, and that's where I really developed my character as a person within a small town, and I treasure that and I value that very much. The things that I learned growing up in a small town, I've carried throughout my life. As you know, I've lived in different cities. I lived in Utah. I've lived in Virginia. I lived abroad in Thailand for 2 years, and I've seen many different aspects of life. And those experiences that I've had, I think, has helped me since moving into Perry, in my involvement in the different organizations I've been in and within the community. Since moving here to Perry, we've had 3 kids that have been born and raised here in Perry. They're still small, 6, 4, and 2. But I want Perry to have that same opportunities for my kids that I had growing up in a small town, where they can grow and they can learn and they can develop their personalities and their characteristics to be good citizens within their community. And I think that's very important for our youth because, I'm sure Derek would agree, our youth is the future. Just like the sign outside of the schools. The future of our community is being determined here in Perry. And so it's really important to have that focus on our youth. That Perry is a place where families want to be, and they want to grow, and they want to be a part of, not just as a family, but to be part of a community as a whole.
Thank you. Derek?
I would say that Lawrence mentioned it, but kind of gave a little bit away there. But growing up here, growing up here in Perry, I have a lot of experiences from here. Also, was very blessed to travel a lot with my grandparents, and I've hit 43 states in my lifetime and seen a lot of the country. So also get to know what other places have by traveling that way. And the main thing, it's similar because raising kids here in town, anything we can do to provide more entertainment for the youth, quality of life for youth and families, so the parents have things to do as well as the kids. And also, one thing I would see valuable in addition is a partnership, a closer partnership with the city government, the city and the school system, to make sure that anything that basically that we're all going the same direction. We all have that same vision, and that anybody coming here gets the same message and the same vision, no matter who they talk to.
Very good. Question number 7. Did you play youth sports, and do you think we need to develop a better youth sports program?
That's an interesting question. I do appreciate it. I played many sports growing up, starting from 3.5 all the way up through an adult. And my dad and grandpa coached here in the local community, and it was very important to them. I've coached some as well, would like to do more of that. The main thing that I saw as a kid and see it coming back and would like to see more of it is that our high school coaches partnering with the youth programs, making sure that the youth sports are learning the same things those high school coaches are going to want them to have, the same fundamentals when they get older, and they're not relearning every time. So yes, I did play sports and would love to see wrestling, basketball, baseball, football, track. We can keep going.
Man, you did all.
I did a lot.
All right, Lawrence.
So same question. So
Same question.
what sports did I play in my youth? I played a lot of baseball, Little League baseball, and then I did wrestling throughout high school and then into college as well. I was also pretty heavily involved in music as well. I did marching band, jazz band, orchestra. And again, I still play today. I love music and I love sports. Do I think we need to develop a better youth sports program? I'm always all for youth programs, whether it's in music, whether it's in sports, whether it's in mechanics, the FFA, the 4-H clubs. These programs really develop character and different traits and values for our youth. And I think that's important because that bleeds into the community. When you see kids getting involved, parents are getting involved, families are getting involved, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and neighbors, and everyone's becoming a part of something bigger than themselves. And when you do that and you get that community involvement within, whether it's sports or music or different programs, you really see the community as a whole coming together and growing. And we're as a community, we're blessed, especially in a small town, to have the YMCA that we have. That's just one organization that I'm familiar with because I'm on their board, where you see a lot of programs geared toward youth, and it provides opportunities for them to grow. And so I appreciate that, and I'm glad that we're seeing that more and more within our community.
Thank you. Instead of going to questions 8 and 9, we'll jump to question 10 and then leave 8 and 9 last because they're 2 very good questions. Mm-hmm. So we'll go ahead and do question 10. If you are elected mayor, what are your plans to fix the sidewalk from First Bank and Trust to the old O'Reilly's building? There are 2 doctors' offices along that sidewalk, and it is not safe. Something must be done.
Like the question earlier, this is one that not being on the council currently, I can't answer as to what hasn't been done or what should have been done. It's for as long as I've been in Perry for the last 8 years. The sidewalk along First Bank and Trust and O'Reilly's, I guess, hasn't been taken care of. I don't know if this is a problem that has been there longer than the 8 years that I've been here. But kind of going back to the discussion that we had about the roads, there's a lot of projects in and around Perry that need to be addressed, whether it's the roads, with sidewalks, especially with sidewalks. There's a lot of opportunities to place sidewalks throughout Perry to provide safe paths and safe ways for people to travel throughout our community. When you look at dealing that partnership with the schools to kind of decide, does there need to be a sidewalk along, let's say, Locust Street, for example? There's a lot of kids that walk, to and from school along that street, and there isn't a sidewalk. Sometimes they're walking in the road, sometimes they're walking in the ditch, sometimes they're walking through people's yards, just to stay out of the way. One of the projects that have happened recently is the sidewalk project from, into town, clear down to along I-35, and it's going to develop further into the baseball fields. That's wonderful that we have that now, so we don't have people walking along the highway. But to kind of go back from First Bank and Trust to O'Reilly's, that's something that the city could work with Perry Main Street and developing that partnership. What grants are there that you can run through Perry Main Street or through the city to be able to provide that assistance to repair our sidewalks? We want a beautiful, thriving downtown. So what opportunities and partnerships do we have to build to improve that within our community?
Thank you. Derek?
I agree that we want a thriving downtown, and anything we can do to improve access to downtown, sidewalks. There was, before my time on council, the sidewalks around the square, that project happened, and I think those are pretty good. There's a couple ADA compliance issues, and I think maybe that's where this question comes from, is the big step up from the road. I'm not certain, but that is a very tough question because that's also a highway, so it would take some partnership with the state probably to understand what we're allowed to do there in getting that more ADA compliant or step there or step reduction, so it's not as high. I'm not 100% sure that that's what we're talking about here, but that is I know there was just work done with some water and drainage along that, and the state actually did that work. So anything that we do would be great to partner with them. The grants that Lawrence mentioned, some of those are coming through state grants. The safety, I can't remember the exact name, but connecting schools and points of interest through the city, down Fur, like you mentioned, as well as the Locust one is actually a grant that's out right now. So that would be from Locust and then up to Christ Lutheran. So that would connect all that through town. But I do think hopefully there is something we can do to make that a little easier if that is the question.
We move on to our next question. What are your top 3 goals if you are elected mayor?
I'd start with making sure that we grow and revitalize the town, whether it's downtown, housing, businesses out on I-35, anything to attract tourism, but keeping in mind the community and family, so that when we do that, we make sure it's still a great place to raise your kids. I mean, that's one thing that sure, when you're growing up anywhere, you see you think the grass might be greener somewhere else, but when you've seen it, you realize that it's pretty good here, and don't want to lose that as we continue to grow. But if we can grow and revitalize things, that would be amazing to also help reduce that burden, which is probably number two, is reducing burden on the citizens, whether it be through utility bills or bad streets. Any of those topics would be, and third would be improving the roads. Like I said, we've done water and sewer, but if we can improve roads and other quality of life type improvements, I think Perry will be well on its way to a place that a lot of other people would like to come call home.
Fantastic, thank you. Lawrence?
Definitely one of the top three things that I would love to see is a greater transparency between the city council, the city, and the community. And what I mean by that is I would love to see our elected mayor very involved within our community. There's a lot of different organizations with Chamber, with Main Street, with YMCA, with Rotary, with Lions, among the churches and within the school. Having the mayor actively involved in hopefully the rest of the council as well, actively involved in those organizations, so that communication is there. I believe that there has been somewhat of a disconnect between the city and the community, where things are happening and folks don't know until after the fact. And I would love to see that open communication between the council and the city and our community. One of the other things I think I would like to see is, as a goal in that mayor position, is some changes made within our city organization and administration, whereas there's unclarity as to who does what. What does the city manager do? What does the city attorney do? What does the CFO do? What's the responsibility of the council as a whole? And having that clear understanding of what each of us do and how we contribute provides a lot of clarity for the community as well, so that accountability could be held there, and we can progress in one direction, that we can work together, united. There's great diversification within the council, and being able to use our different skills and knowledge base to work together as one as best as we can. And then another goal as mayor that I would have is sorry, I just lost my train of thought. So we had, transparency, being involved in the community, and then that seeing changes within our city organization, and really developing our different areas within Perry, with the housing, with the businesses, and then with our downtown. There's a lot of opportunity with those three areas, and developing those partnerships. What do we need along I-35? What do we need within our downtown? And what do we need within Perry's community with our residents? So, what would help improve the quality of life within our city, to be able to ease the burden of those utilities in those with our citizens, and be able to take more advantage on the outside business that now comes into Perry through I-35 and through that tourism.
Fantastic, thank you. Down to our last question.
Mm-hmm.
In your own words, what do you think is the role of the mayor?
I think the role of the mayor needs to be an ambassador for the city and for the council, within the community. Again, kind of going back to that, I'm really big on the mayor should be very involved and out there within our community, so that there is that clear communication, and everyone knows who the mayor and who the city councilors are. They know who represent their wards and their districts. They can trust them. They can rely on them. They can reach out to them. They're easily accessible, because they're within the community. The mayor leads the council and the discussion, but works together with every member of the council. The mayor truly needs to be a liaison and an ambassador for the community and the city as an organization.
Thank you. Derek?
I would agree with Lawrence. Ambassador is huge. We need a good person to be involved in the community, as well as outreach outside of the community as well, to represent in a way that everybody within the city will be proud of. And I'll add a little bit that I think, since we've switched from a mayor form of government to a city manager form of government, that kind of changes what the mayor does, but it doesn't, as Lawrence mentioned, they lead the discussion. But I think one thing that probably needs to be improved on, outside of anything that Lawrence said, is also bringing together the community, whether it is all the different organizations mentioned, and the council, to help facilitate a overarching plan that we can then follow and share and get the word out, whether it's within the community or externally as well, and the schools. I think the schools would be an addition too, that all of these organizations come together and we have a big overarching plan that can then be something we all march towards.
Thank you. Thank you both. Is there anything that either one of you would like to add before we wrap this up? Anything?
Either one first.
Yeah, either one. It doesn't matter.
I just want to say thank you to everybody out there, and I appreciate all the support, and I look forward to being your mayor, hopefully. And lastly, I'll say, please, no matter what, just please try and get out and vote on April 4th. It's important. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek. I agree. That was the same thought that I had, was that really encourage everybody to get out there and vote and to be a part of this decision and the changes that are going to be made. There's some great things that we can do in Perry, and it's going to take the community, not just one person or not just the council. We hope that everybody gets involved as much as you can, as much as you're able. And like Derek, thank you everyone for joining us and for your support and for being a part of this. We're excited to do this next week, April 4th, and look forward to seeing the changes and the improvements that we can do within Perry. So yeah, and thank you, Amber, for having us.
Thank you, and good luck to you both.